Good afternoon. My name is Laura McElroy, and today I'm speaking with the Florida Homestead Check Company, and we're going to talk about organizational systems as they apply to the Florida Homestead Check Company. First, I'm going to introduce the organization that we are analyzing today. The name of the company is Florida Homestead Check. They are located in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and they are founded by Blake Deal, who is a real estate attorney of 23 years. The industry is dealing with property tax analysis and real estate. There are approximately 25 employees. The company mission statement for Florida Homestead Check is this: our mission is to help all Florida homeowners maximize the benefits and savings afforded to them under Florida's property tax laws. Florida Homestead Check puts money back in the pockets of Florida homeowners by helping them to maximize their homestead savings. They also deal with filing for homestead exemption, filing for portability, dealing with low market value and high assessed value cases. So this is the company we are working with today. The purpose for our analysis today is this: we want to improve the workflow. We want to set the stage for growth. We want to evaluate workplace culture, as well as evaluating the existing and non-existing systems. So today I want to talk with your team about SANG's 5 disciplines, or AKA personal systems. We have personal mastery, mental models, shared vision, team learning, systems thinking. Well, why do these personal systems matter for an organization like FHC? Personal systems matter for FHC because in order for a company to stay cohesive and to grow and to be effective, these systems need to be present and at work in the organization. We're going to go over each one of these personal systems or disciplines, and one of the reasons we're doing this is to analyze, is your company using these systems, and if not, how can we get your company to utilize them? First, we're going to talk about systems thinking. Systems thinking is a discipline for seeing holes, okay? Not holes in the ground, but a whole picture. If you take a look over here on the right, we have an image of, it's 4 puzzle pieces put together, so it's the whole picture. It's all the pieces put together. So systems thinking looks at not just the individual pieces, but all of it. It is a framework for seeing interrelationships rather than things, for seeing patterns of change rather than static snapshots. So just as you see 4 individuals that have 4 different pieces, they're all interrelated and they're working together, and they've come together with this one whole picture, and that's what we're looking for, not just pieces of it, but the whole picture. It shows us that there is no separate other, that you and someone else are part of a single system. Okay, so for systems thinking at Florida Homestead Check, what I've decided to do is just cover 2 of the leadership and the management, not each part of this, but we also have counselors and salespeople that we're talking about as well. That's part of the FHC team. The leadership designs the plan and envisions the end. Okay, these are the leadership team here, which is our CEO, our CTO, our CIO. They're the ones that have envisioned what FHC is all about. They are the visionaries of the company. They have created the product and they envision how it's going to benefit the public. They share this vision, their mental models, and then they put this all together to create a product, a cohesive product. Then the leadership talks to the management team, and this management team shares the vision with their teams, which is going to be the counselors and our salespeople, and encourages them to learn and to understand the vision. So the first discipline we're going to talk about is personal mastery. Personal mastery is a phrase we use for the discipline of personal growth and learning. People with high levels of personal mastery are continually expanding their ability to create the results in life they truly seek. Think about yourself individually, because this is something that has to do with the personal individual, with the employees in your company, and for yourself. If you are not growing, if you are not being encouraged to grow, then you will be stinted in that growth. So when we talk about personal mastery, we're talking about enabling our employees and the people within our company to get to a place where they're disciplined and growing and learning and constantly flourishing in that and not getting stumped or stuck. Personal mastery goes beyond the competence and skills, although it's grounded in those two things. It goes beyond spiritual unfolding or opening, although again, it requires spiritual growth. It also means approaching one's life as a creative word, living from a creative as opposed to a reactive viewpoint. So they're not just reacting to a situation, they're reacting out of their lack. They are responding out of that creative growth that is within them. Okay. So there are two things that I want to talk about as far as how to operate out of this personal mastery. And the first one is that it's to embody this, you're continuing to clarify what's important to you as an individual, to you as a company, and to you and for your employees to do this as well. They need to know what is important, have a clear path to that. And then secondly, they need to continually learn how to see current reality more clearly. Sometimes they can get stuck because they pretend everything is all right. They're just saying everything is okay when things are not really okay. Meaning they've lost their vision, they've lost their focus, their goal is no longer clear. So it's a process. It's important that you develop your team, you develop your people. And so personal mastery, if you can get your team right where they are, if you can encourage them at this level, you're going to have a really great team on your hands. The second discipline is mental models, okay? So mental models is just how we see the world and how it works for us. It is the surfacing, it is the testing and the improving of our internal pictures of how the world works, how we see things, how these decisions and these ideas shape how we act. So mental models can be simple generalizations, something as simple as like something that is always this, or they can be really complex theories. But what is most important to grasp is that mental models are active. They shape how we act. And those mental models, they can change. And they're really powerful because it is how we see things. It's almost as if it's a stereotype in some way. So there was an example of mental models that Americans only care about the style of things. Well, I would almost say it's a stereotype that we're so focused on one thing, when in reality it's not so much that. That's just how we see things. So mental models, again, is just how we see things. And what I want to cover are the mental models as a system at Florida Homestead Check. So these are not positive ones. These are more of the ones that I've seen. I wish they were more positive, but this is what I've seen. So mental models of leadership. This is how we want it and nothing's going to change. That's what the leadership sees. Management. The leadership told us to do this, so we have to relay the message. The counselors. We are here to help the customers, and that is all we are going to do. The salespeople. The most important thing is to sell this product. These are the mental models, and they're not all necessarily negative, but this is how each piece of the team is seeing Florida Homestead Check is viewing the product and what their job is, what their goal is in the company. All right, so the next discipline here is shared vision, and I also want to call it common caring. It's something that it's what everybody cares about. And it actually correlates with personal mastery, and it correlates with having a personal vision. So the shared vision at its simplest level is the answer to the question, what do we want to create? What do we want to sell? What do we want to do? How do we want to change the world? What is our vision as a company? So I know that one thing that FHC wants to do is have a foundation to help people who cannot get loans for homes or have no place to live, deal with the homeless. So when the vision of the company was given to your team, you encouraged them to to say, wow, all these people are losing money, and we need to help them save money on their property taxes, which is the shared vision. You want to help people save money. But you also encouraged your team by saying, we also have a vision to help those who are less fortunate. So there is a shared vision, a common caring among this team that's very, very strong. It is what creates the spark that lifts an organization out of the mundane. It fosters that risk and experimentation. When you have a new company such as FHC, you are definitely fostering risk because you're not sure how it's going to go. And we're experimenting as you go along. So it's definitely something that Florida Homestead Check has definitely it's embodied it. Again, the shared vision as a system is to help Florida homeowners save money on their property taxes. This emerged from a personal vision. This came from Blake Deal. Blake Deal, who is our attorney of 23 years, who has also a title agent, watching like people close on all these different homes, and then realizing, oh my gosh, all these people are paying way too much in property taxes, and nobody's showing them that they need to file for homestead. No one's showing them that they need to do these things. So this is where this passion came from, this vision came from. And I believe that, again, I've said this already, that personal mastery is the bedrock for developing that personal vision that also becomes the shared vision, which is what Florida Homestead Check has definitely has going on for them. Let's talk a little bit about team learning. This is another discipline. Okay, so team learning is the process of aligning and developing the capacity of a team to create the results its members truly desire. It also, and just a few things that have to do with team learning, one of them has to do with if a team is not aligned, they're wasting their energy. If they're not on the same page, if they're all over the board, if they're arguing and bickering and not having valuable discussions, they're wasting energy. They're just wasting time and energy. The team must function as a whole with the shared vision, again, which is becoming an extension of their personal vision. So a team that has their personal vision, that is being encouraged to walk out their personal mastery, will also share in the vision of the company, but also will have a desire to work and learn with their team. This is so valuable. There are 3 critical dimensions of team learning. 1 is to think insightfully about complex issues, not just talk about things, not just throw things out there and hope things are going to get fixed, but to actually have valuable dialogue about what's the problem, how can we fix it as a team, as a whole. Let's look at the big picture here. Number 2, there is the need for innovative and coordinated action. Okay, so once you see the complex issues, you see the problem, what are you going to do about it? What's next? How are we going to see this happen? Third, there's the role of team members on other teams. So a lot of times you've got a counselor who may also be a manager. One day that's going to happen within the company. You have someone who works in the IT department but also is a counselor or also is a salesperson. So they're on multiple teams and they have multiple roles. So there's a lot going on here. But that means what the beautiful part of that is that because of that, they can bring that vision to different parts of the company because they're on different teams. So though there are many individual skills, team learning is a collective discipline. Team learning also involves learning how to deal creatively with the powerful forces opposing productive dialogue and discussion in working teams. I want to talk about productive dialogue and discussion. One thing that I have watched go on with Florida Homestead Check, that during meetings, there is not a lot of productive dialogue and there's not a lot of meaningful discussion. You know, this is the old adage, the cliche, there is no I in team. And a lot of times when a team is just being talked at and spoken to without hearing input, without gathering feedback, without asking the team, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? You start to lose some of that shared vision. You start to lose that team learning because now they're just they feel like as if they're not valued. Their voice doesn't matter. And so one of the things that Florida Homestead Check could work on is really creating productive dialogue and really having a discussion that actually helps solve some problems and not create more problems or create you don't want a gap to be created between leadership, management, and all the rest of your team. So having that productive dialogue and discussion is very, very valuable.